गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे We are in Sri Ramana Gita, chapter 14, verse number 8. We are looking at Mukto Bhavati Jivanyo Mahatma Mahatmatmani Sanstitaha Prana Samavaliyande Tasyaivatra Nararshabhaha. O best of men, the Mahatma who abides in the self and gets released while yet alive, his life forces too get absorbed in the self even here. Even here means even while living, not afterwards, not posthumously. So that is, who abides in the self gets released. So that is a possibility. Liberation is not only after death. In certain places they declare saints after finding out how many miracles have happened. Here it is here and now. You can see miracles happening. So we declare the saints while living, not after death. After death, who knows where that person is. Huh? So here, of these people who are mukta, who are liberated, and we saw the three ways of liberation. In the third way, we told you the three types: because of merits, because of grace of God, because of grace of the Sadguru. At the point of last breath, that liberation can come about. But liberation, when we are looking at liberated while living, it seems it is separate to the one who is getting liberated with the last breath. The processes may be different, but the abidance is the same. The Jivan Mukti, the liberation, the state of liberation is the same. We all one came from Doncaster, one from Glen Waverley, one from Mount Waverley, one from Wheeler's Hill, wherever, Quantarna, Dingley, doesn't come in. It doesn't come. Come where? Come here to one place. This is the place. So same way, this whole journey is within consciousness, by the consciousness, in the consciousness, to the consciousness. If you can develop this vision, or there's nothing to develop there, but you have to just hold it, that everything that is happening at this moment also is happening in consciousness, by the consciousness. So I am seeking, I am consciousness. What am I seeking? Consciousness. How can I seek? I cannot seek it with matter, I have to seek it in consciousness only. Because mind is consciousness. Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thoughts is called consciousness. Water with waves, water having a shape is called a wave. Or water with waves is called ocean. That's it. See? So catch this, but instead of what we do, we keep creating differences. Oh, that forest is better. Hall's Gap was better. That's what, but it's okay to do, but don't lose the plot. Don't lose the plot. And that outside you can do the drama 110%. But the plot is lost only in your bosom. It's not lost out there. It's lost here. When you lose the balance, when you lose the equanimity, when you lose the 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 alertness with regards to the poise in the self, that has not to be lost. And therefore here he says, the Mahatma who abides in the self and gets release while yet alive. And what is this release? There was no bondage only in the first place. So what release? Okay, because we are communicating here, to whom we are communicating? We are not communicating, this verse is not, this Raman Gita is not written to a realized master. It is written to you and me, who feel we are bound, who feel we are seekers, who feel we want to be liberated, we want to be realized, we want to attain nirvana. To such a person this is being indicated. And who is this person to whom it is indicated? Who feels that he is in bondage, who feels that he is limited. If he is unlimited, there is no question, he will not come. If he listens, even a realized master listens, he says, yeah, it's talking about me only. I understand. There is no doubt about it. But it is for you and me, who instead of listening for lectures are waiting for burgers. The smell was coming all the way till there. See? For us who are in bondage. Bondage of what? Desires. Be free of desires. And how to be free of desires? As a sadhana, desire the infinite. Stop desiring that which comes and goes. Start desiring that which never comes and goes. Your sadhana has begun. To such a person, this is being indicated. And he gets release. Gets release from what? Gets release from his identifications. Gets release from his thought constructs. Gets release from his convictions. What do you mean? Yes, liberation is also your conviction. It's a concept of your mind. There is nothing called liberation. There is nothing called realization. It's only a concept. That also you have to become free of. Till you hold on to it, you will not realize. And when you realize, you say, there is nothing here, it's very absolutely normal, there is nothing, no special. I have become more commoner than the commonest. Absolutely. And when you look back, there was no sadhana, there was no seeker, there was no nothing, because everywhere you alone are. To such, but that person who has not come to establish yet, to him this is being told. He gets release while yet alive. And you will see, those who have met Darga Swami, he was body disidentified, he's just lying there. Once I met with Swamiji, I went to Himalayas, there, one Hanuman Baba in Uttar Kashi, sitting there. Compound. One Ram photograph there, he's a huge fellow sitting there. The moment you open the gate to his compound and you enter, in your mind automatically, Ram, 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 automatically it will start in your mind. You cannot escape it. And you are thinking, Arey yaar, how will the Swamiji will be, how will this Mahatma be? But you can hear Ram, Ram, Ram going on. You cannot overlook it. And as you come closer to him, he is sitting in that big hall, we all sat down. Now, boom, boom, the Ram going on. You have to experience these things. So same thing happens when we come closer to ourselves. Our mind will not be chanting anything. Only Aham Brahmasmi, or whatever way you are approaching it. And to that extent, all other thoughts of being a waker, being a dreamer, being a sleeper, being a meditator, having so many siddhis, so many powers. So I was once upon a time I was a husband or a wife or a child. Now I am a sannyasi. All these ideas are gone. Nothing remains behind. Just like when you go to sleep and merge into sleep, nothing remains behind. I'm just using the word merge. Nothing has happened there. Only the waker can never merge into the sleep. Cannot. He has to vanish out of existence in order for sleep to begin. He has to dissolve, not merge. The idea of waker has to dissolve from the mind. Then sleep begins. Same way, the idea of individuality, the idea that I am separate to the infinite reality, this idea which we are carrying in our womb of our mind, and that idea is keeping us separate from it. This idea that I am separate from it has to vanish. It has to dissolve. For that, mere intellectualization is not enough. Bhav is required. Surrender is required. To yourself, not to yourself as the body, but to the Madatma, Sarva, Bhutatma, that the self in me is the self of all. The space here is the space infinite. If the self in me is the self of all, now in spite of the differences, you find out where you are falling short in that experience. Where are you falling short in that experience? Where your thinking is keeping you from having that all-inclusive, unattached abidance. So work towards it, na? And this is what the next verse says now. Jivan muktasya kalena tapasa paripakataha sparsha bhavopi siddha syat रूपे सत्यपि कुत्रचित्. In some cases, owing to ripening of tapas, the Jivan Mukta may in time attain intangibility while the form remains. So as he is going through this contemplation on the self, where is this contemplation on the self possible? Is it possible in a ghost body? Is contemplation possible in the dream? Only when you are purified it is possible. It happens when your mind has slowed down to a large extent. Then gods also come, masters also come. You can be sitting in meditation in dream also. That all those things happen, but we are not into that. So this person who is released while still alive, he is doing penance. He is doing tapasya. What is the tapasya for such a person? No, he is already gone. His tapasya will be. What is your tapasya? Tapasya, you understand? Yes. What is your tapasya?
Seeking.
Seeking is not tapasya.
Doing your karma without expecting.
Attachment, non-attachment. Not getting influenced by the senses and mind.
Staying away from the senses.
So what is our tapasya?
Austerity.
So
Yes, yesterday's class we said, not yesterday's, Saturday, Thursday's class we said tapasya is control of senses. Now you are repeating that, but here in this context, what is tapasya? Yes, it is that. But what, now look from Raman point of view, what is tapasya?
living in the
Ahamapatakam. What is tapasya? Destruction of I is the tapasya. The dissolution of I will be tapasya. The merging of the I into the infinite I is the tapasya. So what is the tapasya of the individual? To realize or to recognize that he is the infinite one. And as long as he is working towards it, it is his tapasya. That is the, now whatever is required, he cannot contemplate on the divine if he is still considering himself to be the body, mind, intellect. He, as long as he is considering himself to be individual, he can never be the infinite. As long as, what is the tapasya of the waker? To go to sleep. As long as he is thinking of the waker, he will never go to sleep. He has to think of sleep in order to go to sleep. The waker has to think of sleep to go to sleep, but in that sleep, the waker vanishes. So what is your tapasya? Individual is thinking of the infinite. Where is he thinking? In the waking and as an individual, and when it happens, individuality vanishes, dissolves. That will be the tapasya of individual. What will be the tapasya of the infinite?
Nothing.
Can't be nothing. What will be the tapasya of Ishvara or infinite? Infinite is one. Now look from, what is the tapasya of ocean?
All beings isn't it? Everything is
How?
What is the tapasya of ocean?
pervasive.
But being the infinite is all pervasive.
Yes.
Then what is his tapasya?
Nothing.
It can't be nothing.
He's being there.
I'm not away.
Huh?
I'm not away.
Being there, being there.
To recognize, see, you can recognize you are the infinite one in meditation, but it has not become an all-consuming experience yet. It has not become all-consuming experience. So what will be all-consuming experience? Madatma sarva bhutatma. Bhut means the five elements. So, Madatma, this self that I am is the self of the entire creation. Is the center of all creation, entire creation. That will be the tapasya. So, how will you come out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi to Sahaja Samadhi? Until unless Madatma Sarva Bhutatma doesn't happen, the journey from Nirvikalpa Samadhi to Sahaja Samadhi, you understand? Nirvikalpa Samadhi is thought-free mind and you are conscious. Sahaja Samadhi means whether you are waking, whether you are dreaming, whether you are sleeping, whether your mind is in meditation, whether you are with relatives, whether you are in day, whether you are in night, whether your mind is in past or future, never the Atmic principle is forgotten. Now you are not thinking, mind's job is to think. Realize master also think, isn't it? So what is their tapasya? Their tapasya is this. Not to fall down into individuality.
To remain in
Sahaja
Sahaja.
Samadhi. And continuously. It's not that they are doing anything, but it's continuous. Do you keep thinking that I am the body, I am the body, I am the body all the time? It's naturally expressing, no? And automatically, without you thinking, all your activities are only for
Senses.
taking care of the body. Taking care of the body is that is the tapasya that you are doing, to nourish the body, to keep it protected, to keep it disease free. That is your tapasya for. It's automatically happening. You are not thinking about it continuously. I have to take care of my body. I have to take care of my body. I have to take care of my body. No. Similarly, a liberated one also is continuously maintaining his poise in the self. Body disidentification is possible, no problem. But abidance, and to that abidance as an all-consuming, again words, experienceless experience. All-consuming, experienceless experience. Till that doesn't happen, he is doing tapasya. You are also alert, just like once you come, that we should not tell lies, that we should live a righteous life, that we should do our duties. It's automatic now, and you are always alert with regards to these. Same way, he is also doing, he's also got a mouth, he's also got the mind, he's liberated while living, but the body is still functioning. But he's not doing it out of desire. He's not doing it out of desire. He's not doing it out of willpower. He's not doing it because he feels, oh, I have to keep thinking. No. The equipment keeps doing that. It keeps doing it. Huh?
Without doership.
Without doership, yes. Because before he got realized, he was thinking that way. Before you go to sleep, you are thinking that I have to catch a flight tomorrow morning. In sleep also, your mind will automatically keep thinking about 4:30, and before 4:30 you will wake up. Try it anytime. I don't know how you are getting up. You are getting up with alarm or without alarm? I put my alarm at 5:20. My mind wakes me up at her time. Because that's going on in my head, 4:30. Then yesterday also, today also, 4:30 I went, laid down. I 4:30 क्या करूँगा अभी मैं उठ के? Then I was just watching, but बीच में फिर सो गया. Then he got up, then I got up. But what? So he's not doing it out of will. He's not doing it out of a purpose. He's not. So when I say that he doesn't want to fall back into individuality, he's not doing it out of fear. That's the word. He's not doing out of fear. It has become its nature. Just like it has become your nature to take care of the body. His nature has become to take care of the abidance that he is in. Continuously maintain that poise. So here it is told, in some cases, owing to ripening of tapas, the Jivan Mukta may in time, such a Jivan Mukta, and when we begin, we have done certain sadhanas, we have done certain practices, we have done yoga, or we have done some concentration exercises, and sometimes on the seat of meditation, the what do you call, the feeling comes, if I am focusing on the hollow in my throat, that is the space, that is the position of the space, the entire space, infinite space is located here. If I become one with it, then I'll be one with total space. And then in that deep meditation, sometimes the thought goes there. And after that, I say, hey, why am I getting caught up in the throat? I'm not interested in throat, I'm not interested in space, I'm interested in the infinite reality. And you put it aside. But the virus is there. The virus is there. It will fructify. Whenever the right time is there, it will fructify. And you see, some masters, after realization, they continue smoking. Some masters, after realization, they do whatever. Some people, Swamiji was saying, one master is there, and when he goes out, he is living with his family and everything, but everyone knows he is a master. He will go, come on, let's go. Buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. And others are thinking, yeah, this fellow is buying all this waste of money. You don't want to buy it? Get away from here. You will find someone, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? Can you buy me that? Some unwanted things, nuts, bolts, screwdriver, potato, and he will collect all that, and he is very happy after all that shopping, and he comes back and he doesn't even look at it second time. And sometimes he will do it 2 times a day. Sometimes he will not do it. But there is no purpose. It's just a game. It's just a game. Nothing to achieve and nothing to resolve. So these things we see in Mahatmas. I told you the Neem Karoli Baba taking the, the tablets. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to prove who he is. And yet he did it. He used to take chilim. See? So here when it says in some cases owing to ripening of tapas, as the fruit ripens, what happens when fruit ripens? The world, the tree, mother tree leaves it alone. Isn't it? Urvarukamevo bandhanat mrityor mukshema amritat. And when this ripening is happening or has reached its climax, at that time it says here that in a Jivan Mukta may in time attain intangibility. Intangibility means that he is seen but you cannot touch him. He is seen many places. Satya Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. Just now I gave satsang in someone's house 2-3 weeks ago, and in their house they are Baba devotees. So they called their few group people and we had satsang on either think or worry, sochna or pareshan hona. And in that house they have a small statue of Shirdi Sai Baba. And 3-4 days ago she called early in the morning, Swamiji. I said, what happened? Everything okay? No, I have to share this knowledge. I said, what? Share this information. What happened? Oh, today my sister went and lighted the lamp, and when she went to light the lamp, there is vibhuti on the statue. Natural manifestation of the vibhuti. You know vibhuti? Powder, the ash. So it happens in many places here, but in her house, I said, fantastic. Now don't let it get to your head that you are a great devotee. Because that's when the fall begins. It's happened by take the blessings, apply every day, share it with others. It must become an excuse for even more perfection in ourselves. With that, what has happened. But usually what happens, a little bit miracle happens, a siddhi comes and we become complacent. That should not happen. So here the intangibility is, in Melbourne I know, they have never met Shirdi or Satya Sai Baba, but they have had darshan of Satya Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. And when they reach there, Puttaparthi after so many years, this is the fellow I saw in my dream, who's been troubling me for so many years, giving darshan. These things happen. See? But these people, what you are seeing a form, but you cannot touch the form. You cannot embrace the form. This is a siddhi. And even the Mahatma doesn't know that he is manifesting in so many places. That the infinite divine, the Lord, has used his equipment to manifest it in so many different ways to do his job of blessing the various people. It's a mystery, isn't it? But here, these things happen. Ramana Maharishi is saying. So many people have seen Ramana Maharishi, but you ask Ramana Maharishi, he says, I don't know. I'm here only. But so many people have experienced him. So here he says, which one was this? Sparsha bhavopi siddhaha syad rupe satyapi kutrachit, that while the form remains, the Jivan Mukta Purush, liberated while living, he is having a form, but even that form sometimes people are not able to touch. Or he is manifesting in other places and people are able to see the form. They see, if you see, we can only see the serials, the movies of Shirdi Baba, but they turn around, he's vanished. Some masters know wherever they were. Some masters say, I don't know, nothing like this happens, because they don't want to talk about the powers. They are only focused on the infinite. But Shirdi Sai Baba, yeah, I know, I came. He'll say, oh, did that beggar come? Someone wanted to, he said, Shirdi Baba, you come please for Bhiksha, I want to feed you. He says, okay, go, I will come. And he prepared nice food in Shirdi and nobody came. 12 o'clock passed, 12:15, 12:30. At 12 o'clock, one beggar came. He says, get away. Oh, Baba is going to come. Don't dirty the place. Went away. A leper, it was a leper. He pushed him away. Then a cow came. He pushed the cow away, or a bull. Then a dog came. He pushed the dog away. And after half an hour, 45 minutes, he went to Baba. Baba, you told you are coming and you never came. You are also not living up to your words. And I prepared all hot food for you because you were coming. He says, I came 3 times, my friend. But, and see, because he hit with the stick on the dog. See, you hit me. Because when he went to visit him, someone was giving, the putting some balm on his back. What happened, Baba? Someone hit me with a stick. ये सब चीजें होती हैं. These things happen. But Baba knew, other Mahatmas know. Each one is different. Continuing in the 10th verse. भूयश्च परिपाकेन रूपाभावोऽपि सिद्ध्यति केवलं चिन्मयो भूत्वा न ससिद्धो विहरिष्यति. With further maturity, even disappearance of form, invisibility ensues. So before, first is sparsh. Sparsh was the quality of air. Space quality is what? Sound. So, air quality is what? Touch. Sparsh. Fire quality is what? Form. And water quality is taste. And earth's quality is fragrance. So first, here according to Ramana Maharishi, the first one which expresses is this touch, which is the element of air. He becomes one with the total airs. So people can't touch him. And the second one, over a period of time, that gets developed is this is what I was telling you, that even disappearance of form, that he is there but you can't see. Continuing. Sharira sanshrayam siddhyoho dvayametat narottama alpenapi cha kalena devatanugrahat bhavet. O best of men, these two siddhis of the body may come about in a short time through divine grace. So the more we keep ourselves engrossed in the self as the self, siddhis do appear. And for that, doesn't you keep your mind focused for some time, it will start. Within 3 days things happen. 3 days. Read the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. But don't get lost in it. Because where are these siddhis? These siddhis are in the body. These are not in the self. These special manifestations. What is self? non-specific. What are siddhis? Specific. They come and they go. They happen and they don't happen. They will happen when you don't want it and they will not happen when you want it. Initial stages. ऐसे ही होता है ये. This is how it is. But a Siddha Mahatma can have power and he can manifest and unmanifest whenever he wants. But a person who is liberated while living, he is not focused on these things. So, with further maturity, where are we? O best of men, these two siddhis of the body may come about in a short time through divine grace. And in this way, so one must not get elated, one must not get excited about the siddhis, because it's happening by the divine grace. Don't take ownership of it. When you take ownership of it, like I know one Mahatma, he's also studied Vedanta, but he's totally lost in healing people. He's a yogi, studied Vedanta, but now he's lost in healing people. Only medicine. Keeps experimenting on his body and then helps other people. Who wants to help other people? Who has accepted that the others are real. If his disposition is that he is doing it only as a time pass, it's clicked. Now it is that this is expressing through him, then it's a different matter. So, here he says that one was the experience of the siddhi of intangibility, and the other is the siddhi of having no form. One you cannot touch and the other you cannot see. Seeing is because of the element fire. It's not given here. Form is the first element which you can see. You cannot see space, you cannot see air. You can see fire because it has a form. Sapta Jiva. That fire element is what is giving the form to the whatever you can see. And the air's quality is as a touch. Then continuing. And Ramana Maharishi himself never did any, showed any siddhis. But if you read the stories of people who have been there, experienced, thought of him, so many of them have experienced the grace of Ramana. But you ask Ramana Maharishi, he says no. But magic has happened in his presence, merely his presence, merely by thinking about him. I remember one small kid was there. When we saw her, she was in her 80s, 70s. But when she was a kid, she played in the lap of Ramana. Her mother took her there. And her name was Shauri Amma, outside Vishakhapatnam, before Bhimli. So in Bhimli, there was one great master by the name of Swami Yogananda. He was one of the 14 jewels of Swami Shivananda. And this Shauri Amma was about 6 kilometers before, towards Vishakhapatnam. And it's a fishing area. I only fish. Anyway, we went in and she's sitting there with the TV full blaring on and sitting so close. TV is there and she's sitting here. And one German couple is taking care of her. And she's listening. Eventually they allowed us to come. We were 6 brahmacharis, just finished our studies, 2 years. And we are traveling around India. And we reached there. We came in, and initially little bit irritation, man, TV going on at full blast. And we don't know what she's looking at, but she's looking at it. And that's all. I sat here, one person sat here, a few people sat there. We had to scream. So somewhere Andhra fellows, so they screamed, Amma, we just finished our course. We have come for your blessings. Kuch kundi na? Kuch konde. Sit down, sit down. TV is going on. And we were 6, 7 of us. She looked into my eyes. I was closest. Then she looked into his next. And then she sat down. Tell. So one person said, we want the experience of Ramana. What you experienced with Ramana Maharishi, your mind stopping, we want that. He said it, and next half an hour we vanished. Half an hour. We are looking at her. Eyes also didn't close. We are just sitting there. No body identification, no mind.
And you hear the TV.
And we can't hear the TV also. We can't see her also. And then when she, after 20-25 minutes, she said, what are you people staring in the blankness for? Huh? Oh, I don't know, whatever. He asked in Telugu. So, before we could even ask what question he asked, we were gone.
She silenced you.
So that is what everyone must have experienced. We were awake. I know I was there, but there was no itch to know where I am. There was no disturbance from the TV or the people that were there. Nothing. There was no urge to even move your body. You are just there. It was so, and then she didn't wait. Now get out. Just through. German couple came. Now enough. Go. She's telling to go. We had to leave. No more sitting around, hanging about. This time. And just before coming there, we were with Swami Yoganand. And Yoganand, he was a great yogi, and he did not want no organization, no politics, no disciples, nobody he wants. And he found the worst place, a fishing village, Bhimli. Bhimli, from before 5 kilometers, that whole stretch, only fish smell. And he is surrounded by all the fisher people, fishing folks. They bring the fish, all smell. You enter into his kutia, no smell. Under a tree, he sat down, and we are at his feet. Swamiji, we just finished. I know. So tell us something. In half an hour, he gave the gist of Vedanta, and we were gone. In awe, in stillness. The word is stillness, not we are gone. We are in stillness. And then after when we slowly came, he said, Aya maja. Hey, did you had the taste of it? Then when you have these times, you don't feel like going from there. But you have to go. Life has to go on. And when you taste something like that, then you can never forget. Can never forget. And that is what, when we read these scriptures, when we come across Mahatmas, they are living examples of what the scriptures are saying. Scriptures are exactly, even if you have never read scriptures but you have experienced Mahatmas, scriptures say, hey, this is what it is. So you want to be engaged because it's not your direct experience yet. So you want to keep engaged in that type of thinking, which can eventually dissolve all uh, your ego or your individuality or your desires, whichever, all are same only. So here he says, where are we? 11th, 12th. 11th finish. Bhedametam puraskritya तारतम्य न संपदि देहवान शरीरो वा मुक्त आत्मनि संस्थितः. Difference in siddhis does not mean any difference in mukti. One who abides in the self is a mukta, liberated, whether with or without the body. The one who is liberated is free. So, Akhandanandji Maharaj, Ramakrishna Paramahans, they were with the wife but independent of wife. Right? Who is Videha Mukt? You don't have to divorce to be free. Who is a Jivan Mukta Purush? Who is a liberated person? He who is abiding in himself. With body or without body does not matter. See? So without body, after death of the body, with the last breath, while with the body, because from his point of view, the body, as you and me are interacting with it, he doesn't interact with it like that. And he may also, but there is no itch. We cannot think of ourselves without a body. He can, in fact, he is not fussed over it. And therefore, it says that, where the page goes. Difference in siddhis. Where are the siddhis? In the body. Where is he established in? In the pure consciousness. From pure consciousness, are there any siddhis? He is not aware, he doesn't need to know. But if he knows, it does not matter. But siddhis are of the body. So because he has given up the bondage of the body to know, why will he go back to the body and start thinking about the various siddhis? Because siddhis express only at the body level. When I say body, body does not mean only this body. This is gross body. There is subtle body and there is causal body. So siddhis happen, they may express through physical sometimes. One Gurudev, he used to tell one story. One person was going on wanted to reach his village, and he was walking and he saw the village far away, another 50 kilometers. No, he didn't see it. And he is walking and he asked someone, where is the village? Oh, thoda bahut dur hai yahan se. And kept walking and he got tired. Now the evening fell and now under a banyan tree he is sitting, waiting. If some bullock cart comes, I'll take a lift. If some cyclist come, I'll take a lift. Then I'll reach. I can't walk all that distance anymore. I'm so exhausted. And he's saying, Bhagwan, Lord, please help me. I'm afraid. I'm all alone here under the banyan tree. And I am afraid of the wild animals. There's no light. Please send me some help. From the top of the tree, the answer came. My son, in 10 minutes, one bullock cart will come. Ask him and he will give you the lift and you go to your home, village. God spoke to me. God spoke to me. But there was one sannyasi sitting up on the tree. His peripheral vision is greater than one on the ground. His peripheral vision is greater than the one on sitting under the tree. So he is on the top branch because he also didn't want to get caught up by the lion. So he's sitting, so he saw, oh, bullet cut coming. So that for this one at the bottom, for him, it became a siddhi of the other. Well, he didn't know that the person is sitting. This is exactly what you and me do. When we come across Mahatmas, we say siddhi, siddhi. Because they have disidentified from their body, to that extent they have expanded their consciousness. To the extent they have dissolved their desires, to that extent they have expanded their consciousness. In that expansion of consciousness, higher abilities, the peripheral vision, the capacity, the potentiality automatically starts expressing. It is not something great. It is a matter of fact. It will happen. So, but we don't want to commit to single pointedness. We don't want to commit to live a desire-free life. We don't want to commit to the divine. We want to commit to the body. We want to commit to our way of world, what we have assessed it to be. By God's grace, one day it should click. 14th. No, I'm on the wrong page again. 13th. Nadi dwararchiradyena margenordhvagare margenordhvagan tirnaraha tannotpannena bodhena sadyo mukto bhavishyati. He who ascends to higher worlds through Sushumna Nadi and along the path of arches gains liberation forthwith by the virtue of the enlightenment arising there. Arches is the path, is the solar path. This is the path, it's an unseen. Nobody has seen Kundalini till today, okay? You will feel the throb, you will feel the hot lava flowing through your spine. Open the spine, there is no lava. You will feel ants crawling or what do you call it? Beduk ko kya bolte hain? Frog. A frog jumping on your spine. These things happen, but you open, nothing you will find. Nothing like that. But yet, whole scripture is written on Kundalini Shastra. Whole scripture is written on Kriya Yoga. See? So, similarly, this Sushumna Nadi is, what is Sushumna Nadi? Sushumna Nadi is the path of knowledge. There are three paths. One is the path of yin or yang, or in our scriptures, the path of the moon or path of the sun, the left brain or the right brain, the path of emotions or path of logic, but both are not called knowledge. Then what is knowledge? What? Logic is not knowledge. We are intellectuals. We have studied so much. Emotional, these are emotional fools. That is also, I am a surrender to God. I chant so many malas. All the time I am chanting the mala. Even in my sleep the mantra is going on. It is not knowledge. No, it is not knowledge. Then what is knowledge? Sushumna is knowledge, where logic and emotions, a bhav, emotion more bhav, when these two integrate. When these two integrate, you cannot integrate forcefully. You cannot forcefully integrate. It has to happen. When these two integrate, then this third channel opens up, which is called Sushumna, which is knowledge. And in this knowledge, you move from the various chakras, and those various chakras from Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Agya and Sahasrara, this is nothing but a process of expansion of consciousness, a journey of expansion. And Ramana Maharishi For him, he doesn't talk about the 7 chakras and all that. He says the Sushumna is the channel between the heart and the fontanel. So this becomes activated. So there's another way. You chant Om with every breath. Breathe in, feel the vibration of the Om going from heart chakra to your top of your head. As you breathe out, feel the energy moving from there till there. Connect it together. Either we are emotional or we are logical. Women are lucky, both are connected, but they don't know how to control it. Om can make it integrated. Men's both, what do you call, left lobe and the right lobe is not connected, na? That's what I've heard.
There are connections, Swamiji. That's why they.
No, but in males it is not connected. In females it's connected. She's being nice. Something like that I have heard. Anyway, so but important is either we are feeling or we are matter of fact. Life is not matter of fact, but life is matter of love. But we call infatuation as love. We call attachment as love. But unconditional love is true love. That we have forgotten. And in that attachment and infatuation, we keep doing our duties. So this love is something different. This is unconditional. And when this integration happens, here our Ramana Maharishi is telling that he ascends to the higher worlds through Sushumna Nadi. Who is he? Who is abiding in the self. So whom we were talking before, he is at the threshold. He is a Jivan Mukta. He is not affected by the world. But final consummation is happening. This is another way. He who ascends to the higher worlds through Sushumna Nadi. Understand one more thing. When we are following the path of this Nadi, if you are going through the various chakras, then the maximum you will go to is Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka, the abode of the Creator. Only there you will reach. But if your intention is, your goal is Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. Where is your attention? Let me ask. Mad Atma Sarva Bhutatma. Where is your attention when you hear this? The self in me is the self in all. Where is your attention? Then this statement will not come. That's why I'm asking. If your attention is on the self, you will not say the self in me is the self in all. This thought will not come. Ocean doesn't say all the waves are in me or I am in all the waves. It's a foregone conclusion that it is so. Then this knowledge is being given to whom? Madatma Sarva Bhutma, to the wave, to the individual. You don't have to give to the one who is already expanded. So this Archis is the path. Archis is the path of light. From heart to the top of your head. And gains liberation. And we see that I told you yesterday in the previous class, Paramahamsa Yogananda, this is the path he used. He was a Kriya Yoga practitioner. But in that, he did this. And he raised the life force to the fontanel and left through that. Archis gains liberation forthwith by virtue of the enlightenment arising there. It's not something which will arise and then dissolve away. This is permanent one. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi it arises. Then it dissolves away. Because You come out of the meditation, the world is still there. Again you want to get too much. Like someone told me, Swamiji, I am meditating a lot. I said, fantastic. No, but I went to the bhiksha in their house. Oh, Swamiji, I want to go away again. Where? To some ashram. Why? No, I want to be away from my wife. I said, so what will you do? What do you do in your meditation? Keep thinking that you are free of your wife? Is that liberation? No, how can you say that? I said, if coming out of liberation, out of some meditation, your wife is being a source of trouble, then something is going wrong in your approach. It is not all-consuming experience. It has to become all-consuming. And then there is no one left behind that it has become an all-consuming experience. Nobody is there behind. Yet, see this, because we are not there, we can't work it out. Mahatma is, realized masters are abiding in the self, they are liberated while living, and they are talking to you normally. Sometimes they remember your name, sometimes they forget you, their mind, but there is no issue. Chandrasekhar Saraswati from Kanchi Math, he was called as God on earth, God walking on earth. Tiny, 4.5 feet tall, Shankaracharya of Kanchi Math. You must have been there, near Chennai, 1 hour away from Chennai, Kanchipuram. But if he has travelled from south to north, he knows everyone. Whoever has come to him, he knows them. They say, I am Shailaja, what is your surname? Huh? Okay, I'll just say Shailaja. Shailaja. I am Shailaja. Oh, what is your surname? He'll say, oh, which village you come from? This village. Oh, 10 years ago I met this person. 10 years ago I met that person. And he will connect and he will tell her that everyone is okay. I met them 2 years ago, I met this fellow, 10 years ago I met, 20 years ago I met them. Don't worry if you have not met them. It's a humongous memory. But it's not developed, it's natural. Natural. So, gains liberation forthwith by the virtue of enlightenment arising. So, when we think of these Mahatmas, we think of them as we think about ourselves. But they are functioning at a different plane of consciousness, which is infinite. And we can't work it out. We can't work them out. Because our data is only our life. We have not raised our conscious level. Upasakasya sutaram pakvachittasya yoginaha ishwaranugrahat prokta nadi dvarotama gatihi. To a loving devotee of well-ripened mind, the ascent through the nadi to the highest goal occurs by grace divine. This is not by your own efforts. You cannot put effort, a very simple way to explain, you cannot by efforts become hungry. Hunger comes. You cannot by efforts. There are siddhis, they can do it. But you cannot begin a heartbeat or stop a heartbeat. But there are yogis who can do it. But you cannot by effort go to sleep. That is a better example. You can put effort till when? Till you reach the threshold of sleep. After that, you have to give up efforts in order for sleep to commence. And it happens. Or if you say, no, I must give up my efforts to sleep, then you will remain awake. Same way here. It is told to a loving devotee of well-ripened mind. What is well-ripened mind? Huh? Purified mind. Put another way. Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka, Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. Tell another way. We just brainstorm here. Another way.
You still have the mind, the thought there, I, the true.
Okay, well-ripened mind, but not disturbed by anything else.
Don't disturb the animals.
Tell another way.
Established in divine.
Not established. He's waiting for the door to open. In the sense, he who has got no doubt,
Convinced here.
no doubt as to who he is. You don't have any doubt that you are the body, therefore you don't think about the body, no? When you have no doubt about the pure consciousness, that very moment you will stop thinking that I want to be one with pure consciousness. How long will Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am reality, I want to be reality, how will this continue? Till you are not fully convinced. The moment you are fully convinced, thoughts stop. You come to abide in that. How long will you desire food? Till you are not fulfilled. Once you are fulfilled, desire goes away. Now this is, food desire is a bit more at a matter level. Here you are thinking about infinite reality which doesn't have a form but is supporting all the forms. Supporting all the forms.
You haven't experienced it.
But you have not become one with it.
Yes.
But you don't doubt it. And you don't doubt it that you are that also. But your abidance is not there. There is no doubt. No, if I take that path, I have been doing this one for so long and it has not worked. I am convinced. No. Stay with one till that path dissolves in the destination. Upasakasya sutaram, and this our Amrit Anubhav, what we are doing there, this is what we have done. Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. When we come to Para, you will continue to remain in the cyclical experience of waking, dream, deep sleep, meditation. Waking, dream, deep sleep, meditation. Meditation is Para, Turiyavastha. But how do you go beyond? Until and unless knowledge is not invoked. Until and unless, and when will knowledge get invoked? When integration takes place. When will integration take place? When doership dissolves. If you are doing meditation, knowledge will never come about. It has to happen. It has to happen. But we have to keep exposing ourselves, bring with efforts, come to that point and let go. We come, she was showing her son's photograph. They are on the cliff. They put efforts to climb the cliff. Then to do what? Let go into the water. No fear. They know they will be in the lap of water. You read Jonathan Livingston the seagull. He jumps. He is a baby. He is a chook. The mother has gone away. And the seagulls on the cliffs, they have these nests, and he looks down, oh my God. And what process is going in his mind? That should I not? Will my wings open? I see my wings, oh, they are only this much. then I'm still a baby, my parents are so big. But I can't remember the whole story. I don't know if some eagle comes and he jumps or something. But eventually he has a leap of faith. And the moment he jumps, without him trying, the wings automatically start fluttering. And now he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want to rest now. The one who has experienced the freedom like that, will he come back to body identification? No way. No way. So to a loving devotee of well-ripened mind, the ascent through the nadi to the highest goal occurs by divine grace. So that is the threshold which I was talking about. You can only come up to that point. Sleep comes not because of your efforts. I am going to sleep. Tir maar liya. Try as you get old. You go to bed, sleep doesn't come. I don't think everybody slept, no? So here no problem. But there are people. Continuing. सर्वेषु कामचारोस्य लोकेषु परिकीर्तितः इच्छयानेकदेहानां ग्रहणं चाप्युनग्रहः. He can roam at will in all the worlds, assume as many bodies as he likes, and even confer grace on others. Now he is a unique one. He can take the position of Ishvara, he can take the position of a friend, he can take the position of a husband. You are also doing the same, you are playing so many roles. You got so many siddhis. Look at it from principal point of view. One moment, without any doubt, you are a wife. Next moment, the child calls you, without any doubt, without any process, you become a mother. Without any thinking, no delay process. No, I have to do sadhana to become a mother now. Because I forgot, I have to first dissolve the wife. Then I have to invoke the mother. Stupidity. So also if we expand and come to abide in where he is, as Ramana Maharshi is saying, the Sushumna Nadi has opened up, then he can, what is the things he said? That he can roam at will in all the worlds. What are all the worlds? Bhur, Bhuva, Suva, Jara, Tapa, Maha, Satyam, all the lokas. These are nothing but planes of consciousnesses. And therefore such masters who have gone through every step, they are able to help every type of seeker. If you have followed only the path of knowledge, Swamiji, I am having some problem with my stomach. Acha, Bhagavad Gita ka ye verse padho. But if you know everything, acha ye yoga kar lo. You know that path also. See? You know the Kundalini path also, because everything has its different symptoms. But what are the symptoms of Kundalini? What are the symptoms of Kriya Yoga? What are the symptoms of Ashtanga Yoga? What are the obstacles that come in different paths? This becomes like this, it becomes available to such masters. They don't have to study it to know. Because where is GPS? GPS is in your phone. Can it see all the roads? No. But it is connected with the satellite. And that satellite is able to see all the roads. Are you able to see all the roads? No. GPS is able to help you also, her also, everyone. If more population comes, even they will be helped. He becomes such Mahatma becomes the GPS. He is able to solve every person's problems some people he will solve by words, some people he can solve by guidance, some people he will initiate, some people he will put them through experiences. There's no one pill for everyone. It's person specific, because he knows what is going to help you or help you or help you. But for that, just like doctor gives a different medicine to every patient who comes. She's not, acha, you got a headache? Take Panadol. Acha, what are you got? I got loose motion. Okay, take Panadol. I'm getting a heart attack. Take Panadol. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And this is the beauty of our Sanatan Dharma. The variety that is there in this culture, or this in the scriptures, in the path of approach, these are all different ways of approach. And the one who has gone beyond all the approaches, he has transcended through that arches, he is able to have the eagle vision and is able to help everyone. And who are these people who help everyone? We have come across quite a few in our life. They are all Mahatmas. I didn't ask Dargah Swami to. I said, you know me better. You are. He told me that verse. But who came with me? Each person, some of them asked the question. He answered them to what their question was. Others said, no, just your blessings. He gave them what was required for them. You have to come exposed to these type of people, of such Mahatmas. And why I keep saying that? Because this, I have not only experienced. If I say only I have experienced, no, I take them so that they have also experienced it. So he can roam at will in all the worlds, assume as many bodies as he likes, and even assume as many body as he likes. So before we are talking about where I was telling when the touch and the losing the form, Baba has manifested in so many places, other masters have manifested. But here he is talking about will. He can give a darshan if someone, it's a connection. What is the connection? If my GPS is on off mode, will it show me the direction? No. Then what I have to do? I have to connect, get connected. How I switch it on, it gets synced with the satellite. And immediately where I am, it shows, and where I have to go, it shows. Isn't it? Many of us don't even know where we are. That's why she was carrying. Even in this small bush, in this rose garden, she was seeing where I have to go. Because I saw her with the phone. I'm just joking here. Okay. I'm just joking. You don't have to justify. But see, so if we don't know where we are doing satsang, I am giving lecture. No, I am a Mahatma. I can speak on Upanishads. I can talk on Upanishads, on Raman Gita. I am a great one. I have got all my doubts cleared. I don't have any doubts. And then someone greater comes. And then I find, I am nobody, man. Or someone comes, if I can't answer that question, hey, this is a stupid question. Why? I don't know the answer. This is a stupid question.
Oh, that's why you say to us many times.
I have to be careful of her. She is listening very keenly. No, but this master, he is able to help. Sometimes Raman Maharishi used to help in silence, never uttered a word. But his presence itself was a solution. Presence itself was a solution. Many times people come and nowadays no classes, but they say, Swamiji, come first, come to the satsang. After satsang, there is no question. Bhai, what question you wanted to ask? Answer ho gaya. It has been answered. I did not say anything. I don't even know what their question was. I was only going through the text that I am taking. But they became available in that environment, in that vibration. They started letting go of their issues and started focusing on the higher. The moment you focus on the higher, the lower drops away. And such Mahatmas are able to help us, guide us, direct us. If we feel stuck, don't give your power away to anyone. If someone comes and helps you, thank you very much. I am very grateful. Don't become a beggar to anyone. Please help me realize. Please, you are a great one. We are ignorant. Please touch me on my head. Please give me, bless us. That's stupidity. That's hina bhav. That is self-pity. That's self-pity. If you are a seeker, you will not go to anyone. You invoke, because in the end, only you can realize. Nobody can help you make realize. Ramana Maharishi says differently here. He says, such a master can help realize also. That means realization is going to happen in oneself, by oneself. But he can bring you to the threshold. He can help you, guide, direct, to come to that point where you become totally confident that you can. What? You can give up efforts. Our problem is an inability to give up our efforts. Continuing. Kailasam kepi muktanam lokamahurmanishinaha eke vadanti vaikuntham paretvaditya mandalam. Some wise men say Kailasha is the world of the liberated, others say Vaikuntha, and yet others the region of the sun. Some people say this is in the devotional side. Those who are following the for them God is Lord Shiva, then we go for Kailash Yatra. And there what do we say? Oh my God, this is where all the liberated people come. Where do they come? Batana padta hai. You see that triangle there on the face of the Kailash? That is a door. That door opens every 63 years. And then all the Siddhas who are meditating there in the subtle form, they enter and become one with him. So blessed that I can. You didn't see the door. You didn't see it open. You didn't see the Mahatmas. But story was given. Story was given. When you come in devotion or where you take God as a form, only stories work. And yes, at the relative level, it may be possible. Then those who follow Vaikuntha, for them Vaikuntha. For those who follow Ram, for him Saket. For those who follow Lord Sun, the abode of the Lord Sun. So whatever God you think, and we have enough in India. In Sanatan Dharma we have enough. And it's not that because you are following Kartikeya, so I have to follow Kartikeya. I don't like Kartikeya. I like Ganapati. So each one has a natural disposition and you will get attracted towards a certain form. Otherwise you will be married to all the girls in the world. No, you got attracted by one. So many beautiful are there, but you got attracted by one. Similarly, you get attracted, your natural propensity, natural pull towards, for some towards Lord Shiva, for some towards Narayana, for some towards Ram, for some towards Hanuman. for some towards Kartikeya, for some towards the goddess. No, that is their grace that they are calling you, and your mind naturally becomes quiet when you think of them. You utilize that to go beyond all form. You have to begin somewhere, no? So here it is told, some wise men say Kailasha, but then what he says in the next verse, Mukta lokascha te sarve vidvan bhumyadi lokavata chitra vaibhavaya shaktya parikalpitaha swarupe kalpitaha. O learned one, like this and other planets, these worlds of the liberated also are projected on my being by the marvelous power of Shakti, meaning by Maya. All these worlds, Kailash, Saket, Vaikuntha, all these are projections of Maya on the infinite reality. What is infinite reality? That which is beyond the conditioning of space, time and objectivity. Then where is Vaikuntha? I have to go to Vaikuntha. It's somewhere in space. Think. If I say I have to go to Mars, I have to go to Moon, it is in space. I have to go to Vaikuntha, I have to go to Kailash. It is some space, some place. And place can exist only in space. Reality is beyond space. Huh? No, that is different. It is that, but be with the topic. So it is beyond the form, beyond the space. So space is even though you see space is infinite. Space is infinite. You may call it room space, country space, earth space, our galaxy is in other space, but space is infinite. Even more pervasive, more expanded, more infinite is the self. So it cannot be bound in the confines of the space. Rules of space do not function in the self. But space cannot function without the self. Space cannot function without the self. Space cannot exist without the self. So where is the space now? I'm just taking, where do you see the space? Is there a space in the outside world? Is there a space in the outside world? Where else is the space? Do you see space in the dream? You don't see space in the dream. Don't you see a world in the dream? So there is space. How can you experience a dream without space? Is there space in the deep sleep? It's absence. That is space. Space means absence. Another way approach. There is gross space. There is mental space. Keep rising. There is conscious space. So idea is to grow. Idea is to expand. Don't get caught up anywhere. So here he says, O learned one, like this and other planets, all experiences of the divine realms. You want to go to any loka or any god, it cannot happen without the infinite reality. Gods also come and go. Gods also come and go. You will say, why? How can God come and go?
Because we are specific God.
Anything specific comes and goes. But you have never seen God. So how do you say that God doesn't come and go? Also comes and goes, or doesn't come and go?
That's also a concept.
Huh?
They take forms.
Okay, whatever is a form, it comes and goes.
And their merits, they go become gods because of their merits, what they've done, and once they perish, they go back to the
There is no merit for them.
the circle.
So gods, when are you dissolving your idea of the world, your idea of the body, your idea of who you are, a mother, daughter, brother, sister, employee, employer, whatever? Does it all become zero when you go to sleep? Do you dissolve? Does the individuality become unmanifest? And then next morning it becomes manifest again. Same thing happens at the totality level also. So all gods become unmanifest when the final dissolution comes. And then again, when the creation begins, again they come back up. How can you? Nobody has seen it, nobody has known it. So if you are ready to accept that which does not exist, what does not exist? Ego does not exist, but you are ready to accept that ego exists. Attachment, there is nothing called attachment, therefore no detachment, but you accept there is attachment. So if you can make a fool of God, God can't make a fool of you. If you can accept that you are an individual, why can't you accept that there is a total? Because individuality cannot exist without totality. A wave cannot exist without an ocean. Totality. Is totality there? No. Totality is as much an imagination as much as individuality. There is nothing called ocean, only water. There is nothing called individuality, only water. It's the how you approach it. So from what Raman Maharishi says is exactly what is given in the Upanishads also. That all the gods, all the lokas, planes of existences, planes of experiences cannot, they do express, they do. People who believe in Saket, they will go to the abode of Ram. Those who believe in Kailash, they will go to Lord of Kailash. Because their belief is so staunch, they have no doubt about it. But all these places cannot exist without the common denominator called the pure consciousness or the infinite reality. And that infinite reality is my true nature. So don't shortchange yourself. I have given up individuality, I get to totality. But here, this master, he's playing in individuality, he's playing in totality, he's playing in past, he's playing in future. He's able to help everyone. You read, I don't know if you can get an English biography of Shankar Maharaj. Shankar Maharaj he was long legs, always sat in a toilet position. Shankar Maharaj, Pune. This time when I went, 2 years ago when I went, I bought all his biography, and I gave you an example of that Malti Ai. I went to meet her. Someone told me there is one saint here. I said, saint? I want to meet if I come across anyone. Here also. So I went, found out who was there, and went to meet her. 92 years old. 92 years old. Spark in her eyes. She kept me engaged, laughing, reveling in the reality for 3 hours. And then after 3 hours she says, I can continue, but I think you must be exhausted. And I was also asking questions, and she was answering, and what else? But she did not say, I am 92 years old, please have pity on me, and now it is enough, 1 hour is enough, I don't. She fed me, See? ऐसे मिलने पे, when you come across, then you see, then you feel, where am I stuck, man? I have to expand. Then I have to do something out of the norm and recommit. I think I've again been pulled into bread, butter, margarine. I have to get out of this. That is tapasya. When you are continuously, without any distractions, focusing on that infinite, that is the tapasya for us. And what is the tapasya for the infinite? What was told previously, he is able to help everyone. It naturally happening through him. Sun is not saying that I am giving heat to everyone, I am giving light to everyone. It is his nature. This is the nature of the liberated one. Whether he wants or he doesn't want, he becomes a vehicle. While living, he becomes or not without a body, he becomes a vehicle to bring, to help, to solve, resolve the doubts of the seeker, those who are thinking about him, or about whom he is thinking. Sometimes nobody, there are people I have met who I never thought of, who they don't know who Shirdi Baba is or who another, but he has appeared in their life. And who is this man? Who is this man? Who is this? All curly hair and, a bush on his head. And after a few years, they come, oh, and so he had been giving the grace. So for that, all this drama, what is the best drama? Our Puranas are the best drama. If you want to tell the story, don't tell your story. Tell the story of the gods. Don't tell your story as you are all doing. My grandchild like this, my child like this, my son is like this, my daughter is like this. It's not going to take you anywhere. If we have to revel, this is called reveling. This reveling about our family is because of infatuation, is because of attachment, and this is not love. When you are in love, then you will only talk of the Leelas of the Lord. Whatever, automatic satsang begins. Many times it has happened in certain gatherings. We don't talk about, nobody talks about their family. It's only about Mahatmas, about the sadhanas that various masters have practiced. These are transcendental thoughts. These are thoughts of family, thoughts of food, thoughts of body, thoughts of disease. They are contracting you. And what you have to do? Expand. Now you are committing sabotage by yourself. Who can help you? They are waiting. Such liberated ones are waiting. God is waiting. But we are not. We have got our windows closed. We have got the curtains down. Me and my family. Me and my body. Me and my wealth, superannuation. Me and my bills. How will we expand if we are still in that rut? So you have to do something different if we are sincere seekers. We cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We have to do something different to get a different result. इति 17th वर्ष हो गया. इति श्री रमण गीतासु ब्रह्म विद्यायां योगशास्त्रे रमणान्ते वासिनो वासिष्ठस्य गणपतेरुपनिबन्धे जीवन्मुक्ति विचारो नाम चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः. This is the 14th chapter entitled Jivan Mukti in the Sri Ramana Gita, the Science of Brahman and the Scripture of Yoga, composed by Ramana's disciple Sri Vashishta Ganapati Muni. Bolo Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai, Ramana Bhagavan ki jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Just sit quietly. हरि ओम। श्री रमणाय नमः।